Isn't memory maddening? Says Anna May Cryer on an unseasonably warm afternoon in late October 2021 as she struggles to decipher the numbers strewn across a pay stub that stated April 1945, making it much older than the town in which she lives. Cryer lives alone in Levittown, Pennsylvania, a planned community in Bucks County, northeast of Philadelphia, where each house resembles the next, save for a varying array of political flags and garden gnomes that flank the front doors and porches. Cryer can call to mind with visceral clarity the potent mix of fear and shock she felt the first time she ever saw her father cry, for example. It was 1941, and her brother had just boarded a train for the Second World War. But she can't for the life of her remember whether or not she bought Coca-Cola at the grocery store yesterday, or what she did with that letter she once received from Barack Obama, commending her on the work she's doing to get women's wartime efforts recognised more widely. "I'm walking history," she says, as she stretches out a stiff hip that's been aching since she mowed the lawn the previous day. "But I'm also running out of time. I need to tell my story before it's too late." Cryer is 95 years old. Her life so far has spanned the terms of 17 presidents, of whom Franklin Delano Roosevelt, she concludes after some consideration, was probably her favourite. She has 8 great-grandchildren and 3 great-great-grandchildren. Norm, her husband of almost 7 decades, died in 2014, and she frequently sits in the comfortable chair in the living room by the urn containing his ashes and asks for advice or just talks about her day. He always was, and still is, a great listener. In the morning, Cryer usually drinks coffee in her garden, often 2 cups, and talks to whoever might be listening, even if it's just the nervous sparrows and the changing trees. She runs errands in her red Chevrolet pickup truck. Her grandkids laugh at the fact that the windows still need to be wound down manually. A few times a week, Cryer tends to her yard and to her neighbour's yard when they're on vacation. Every day, twice on most days, her son Norm Jr. checks in. He lives just down the road, but at the age of 74, he's starting to find even the short trip to his mother's house a little taxing. If daily routines lay the tracks for Cryer's life to keep moving forward, then it's her history, and specifically her determination for that history to be recognised, that provides the fuel. When we Rosies entered the workforce, as riveters like me or as something else, we took a giant step for women of the day, but also for women of future generations, she says, now nibbling on a chicken salad sandwich. We showed everyone what's possible, that women and men are equal and should be treated as such. But what did we get in return? Not that much. She sighs with a little shrug. And that's what I'm going to change. That's what we all need to be fighting for. Anna May Burkett was born on March 21st, 1926, in the tiny farming community of Dawson, North Dakota, just as the Midwest was thawing out after yet another punishing winter. She was the great-granddaughter of Austrian immigrants who, 4 decades earlier, lured by the promise of amber waves of grain, had pioneered the Dakota Territory in covered wagons. Later, May, as she was only ever known, would joke that her ancestors never would have made the trip if they had known that they would freeze their butts off.